Welcome to the Hound Talk podcast. We're here to talk everything hounds, specifically when it comes to big game. Mountain lions, bears, and bobcats. Along with the game we pursue, we're going to talk about the dogs we run and the families behind them. Enjoy some good conversation between houndsmen as we dive into what makes us live this life we live and how it all started. I'm your host, Dustin Clark. This podcast is sponsored by Cold Strike, a houndsman-owned business that was built by a family for families. Now let's get into it. What's going on, guys? So we're back with another episode of the Hound Talk podcast, and today I have my daughter Ella with me. Ella is my second daughter. She's 14, and if anyone has a love for the dogs like I do, it would be her. So, Ella, how do you feel about doing a podcast with your dad today?
I don't know.
Pretty awkward.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, what do you like doing? Bear hunting or lion hunting better?
It depends, because lion hunting is cold, but then bear hunting is hot.
So there's no happy medium. You just don't like either one, or what?
No, I like both.
Oh, okay. The one just has some perks, and the other one has different ones.
Yep.
Okay. What? I know you've been doing it your whole life. Ever since you were born, you've been around hounds. But what is your favorite part about it? Like, even the dogs or hunting, like not about bear hunting or lion hunting, but just having hounds in general. What's your favorite part?
Probably raising them from like puppies.
Yeah, you have been a part of raising a lot of puppies, because we've had friends like Hunter and that have their females at our house that we raise the pups till they're 6 or 8 weeks old and then send them to wherever they're going. So you've seen your fair share of long-eared hound pups. Do you like it after that, or do you just like playing with them till it's time to send them somewhere else?
I feel like by the time it's like when you send them somewhere else, they're all annoying. So you're like waiting for them to leave.
Yeah, that's how I am. I like them till they're like 6 weeks old, and then I don't want anything to do with them till they're like 8 months old.
Yeah, because all they do is sit and bark in the kennel if you don't let them out.
Yep. Yeah, they do get a little obnoxious. So with that, besides just raising pups, what else? Like, what's another favorite part of hounds or the hound lifestyle that like really sticks with you that you like?
Probably being able to like watch them go from like the kind of like the clueless little puppy that doesn't know what they're doing to like being like kind of like with like Waylon.
Mm-hmm.
How he was like very much like a maniac. Very crazy. And then you watch him kind of like when it clicks for them what they should be doing, it's really cool to watch.
Yeah, when they finally figure out kind of what their instincts are and kind of what they're bred to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. That's one of my favorite parts, is watching that switch flip with those young dogs. They kind of get it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
like this is what we're supposed to do. This is the fun part. No, I get that. What if you had to, like, what's one hunt from all the years that you've been and all the trees you've been to? What's one hunt that's probably been like your favorite?
I think probably with like that one bear that it had crossed like over behind our camp the night before. And then it almost ran across the road, so we saw it like parallel to the road, and that was really cool.
Yep.
And then that's the one that I threw Chloe over a log because she wasn't paying attention, and the bear was like starting to come down, and like since it was younger, like, it wasn't gonna stay in the tree, and so I was like, "Okay, Chloe, time to go," because we had pulled off most of the dogs, and so that's the one she ran to the truck in.
Yeah, I remember. So that's the one. Pretty sure I can remember that story. We were camped up on the Beaver, And in the middle of the night, the dogs blew up, and I started yelling out the camper because I was pissed because they wouldn't shut up. And I figured they were barking at deer or who knows what else in the middle of the night. But we left camp and drove down like the first road that we were going down into, and they rigged hard still in the dark. And they took that bear and did like a 6 mile run, but all just stayed in and kind of did loops in that big area. And then they ended up, when they first took off trail, and they went right behind camp. And that's when we figured out that it was that bear that walked through there like 3 or 4 hours before. But yeah, I remember that one because that's the one that we had those random people show up at our tree. we so they walked and bayed this bear, never crossed the main road. They did cross a side road a couple times, but we weren't there to catch them, to watch them cross with it. They were just walking it and walking it. And that's the one that finally that bear wouldn't tree. And then finally I had enough and kicked Belle out.
Yeah.
After I kicked Belle out, that bear popped up within like 10 minutes. So she was pretty well retired by then, but she
Yeah.
still had enough in her to help get that one to climb. But as it finally treed, we were walking into our tree from the truck, and we just see this old couple start like right in front of us, drop down into the canyon. And they were nice enough, and I think he had been on enough hound hunts before that he stayed away from the tree until we got there. I think he stayed like 70, 80 yards away. But
Yeah.
no, that was a good one. That one was actually, it was an all right boar, just younger.
I had
But
the funny patches on his.
yeah, he had like weird light colored hair patches on his jaw and up on top of his head. He looked real funny. He didn't tree very high either. He's only like 10 or 15 feet in the tree. But that's the one that Kenna was carrying around that post, that it was the thing for the orthodontist. Do you remember that?
Mm-mm.
I could show you the pictures on my phone. So she carried that like picture of the orthodontist on the stick, and you had to take a picture of her with that to like try and win a contest at the orthodontist.
I
Uh,
don't remember that.
yeah, it was like a bright green thing on a popsicle stick that had the orthodontist from up in Cedar's face on it.
That's funny.
And so we took pictures of her with that at the tree, trying to win his picture contest or something, I think. So no, that was a good trip up on the Beaver. What is there another one that you can think of like that you really enjoyed? Probably doesn't have to be your favorite, but just a different hunt. You've been to quite a few bear trees, a couple lion trees.
I'd say probably like one of the funnest lion ones was when we were with Jackson and his friend. That was
Oh,
like a long hike, but it was fun.
oh, Jack told that story. Jack told that story because that's the one where we ended up having to walk out the bottom, and Mom came and picked us up. Right? Yeah. Yep. Your brother did tell that story. He managed, or he wanted to tell everyone how I kept telling him to quit sitting down because he was wasting energy, and then he's found that branch to sit on. So, um, over all the years and the dogs we've had, what dog has probably been your favorite?
Zeus.
Zeus. I figured. Um, Zeus is a good dog. He still is. We ended up, when we were moving, ended up selling him to someone, and they still hunt him on bear. He still does really good. What? Trying to think of how to word this just right. So, with the dogs, you like watching the young dogs. You like watching the puppies. What about what about hunting bears is probably like your favorite part about going bear hunting?
I feel like when the dogs get like a really good rig,
Hmm.
because it's just cool to listen to like the box blow up.
Yep. Yep. Oh, I like that. It's half the time you guys are asleep when that happens. You get to wake up to dogs barking instead of driving around for 3 hours before it happens. You just sleep.
Yep.
So let's do this. Do you remember the last bear we caught?
Um, maybe.
That would have been with, it was me, you, Jack, and Chloe.
Was that with like smoke?
No, no, it would have been not just this last spring. Uh, with Hunter and Cannon. You don't remember that one? Um, they rigged and they took it backwards for a little bit till I got them turned around. It was over on the boulder.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you tell that story? Can you remember that one now? No? Let's hear a bear story from your perspective. I'll try not to chime in.
Oh, it's when we were up on. There's one where we were up on the Beaver with like Steve and I think Jesse had come up, but they left like a day early.
Yeah, when they got sick.
Yeah. And
That's
dang,
been like 5 years ago. How do you remember that one, but not one that was less than a year ago?
I don't know.
Oh, all right. Well, keep going. I'll see if I can help you out.
Um, anyways, and like we hadn't caught like anything. Like we had a few like bumps, but it wasn't really anything.
Hmm.
And I remember we were like going down like that one main road and the dog was like rigged. And there was like a ditch on the side of the road. And I remember like we let him out. And then I like this is really random. But like I felt like I knew we were gonna catch a bear that day.
Hmm. So if you're talking the one where Steve and them slept in that morning, right? So that's actually the same where we rigged that bear is the same road that we started the bear on that we were talking about earlier that went behind camp. Exact same road. We caught it in the exact same canyon. Does that make sense? Yeah, because Steve slept in that morning,
Yeah.
and it was like a 4 day trip, and we just were not having any luck, and that was the only bear we caught, and they ended up sleeping in and didn't make it to that tree.
Yeah.
So Steve listens to these, so you can rub it in his face. You missed out that day, Steve. Can you remember? So we turned down that road because we went right past those camps. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then from there, can you remember what happened? They rigged it, and that's when we cut. I think I cut Zeus, and
Wasn't it like a quick tree?
it was pretty quick. I mean, we dumped them. They kind of hit the track and went up a little side road, and then wrapped around and went down. So where we treed that big boar was like where they crossed, and then they kept going down that big canyon that has that open bottom in it, and they treed up on that thick side hill. But
Yeah.
yeah, they had it caught within like 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So because
That
that's the
just
one.
reminds me when we were on the Beaver and we ran into like JC and Coda and like Sebastian and them and they had those two. Yeah, that one was because we found like the track on the side of the road and we turned out and I think that was like that was a steep hike. That hike was
Down off that edge. Yeah, because what JC and them had found a track, and I think it was Coda that had dogs that went backwards. And when we got down there, they were having a little bit of a time trying to get it going back the other way. So we kicked out a few dogs, and then JC kicked out some, and they ended up trailing. It was actually a good boar that it went down and across, and treed down off a steep hill that we came in from the top. You remember that?
yeah, that was like a straight downhill hike that was not fun, but it was a really big bear, so
Yeah, it was a good bear. It was a nice bear. I don't think that one made it through the fall hunts, if I remember right. I'm pretty sure
yeah,
he
probably not.
he got whacked because we caught him in the summer on the pursuit season.
Yeah.
So, oh, that was a good one. What about um, a lion hunt?
Lion.
Well, I mean, you got another one. I think you were there the day. Yeah, it was you and Kenna that we caught two in one day, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead. You remember that day very well.
Yeah, I do. Because that was cold. It
It was cold.
was really cold. Yeah, because I remember, was it, you'd found the track, right? You came
Ryder
back
found it.
and found it.
Remember? So
Yeah.
we went up and turned out with Ryder.
Yeah. Because that first line we treed, I remember, like, we had to go up that one, like, hill, and it was, like, really steep, and it was snowy, so we had to, like, grab on, like, random branches
Mm-hmm.
to just get up the hill. And then after that, it wasn't too bad of a hike. We got
No,
there.
no, that's the one that they had her on the rock, and then yeah, after she bailed, we pulled dogs and came back. But yeah, that was a long hike. I think that one was over a mile, and it
Wasn't
wasn't very fun. No. And then right after we got done getting back to the truck with that one, I think it was Ryder's buddy called him, and they had another track. It was just his friend that was out driving around, messing around, found another lion track.
Yeah, that one wasn't a bad hike. It was just like maybe half a mile of just like flat ground, and she was in a tree. You could see her pretty good, but
Yep. Yeah, yeah. We got to where we could see her decent, and then once she bailed, we pulled the bigger dogs. Had a couple young ones try her for a minute, and then we pulled those as well. So yeah, you had two lions in one day. It
yeah.
was a good day. So what? We've talked bear hunt. We've talked lion. So what is like your, like if you could pick something about dogs, like one traits over the other, what would you rather them have? Like what's the one thing that you kind of like to see in a dog when we hunt it?
Kind of like the fun loving nature they have, more like
Hmm.
over like the just go go go.
Yeah, you
Because some
like,
dogs,
yeah. So you like, especially with the lines that we run that come from Hunter and his dad. They hunt hard and they have a lot of drive, but at home they kind of know how to turn it off. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, you definitely do like dogs that will lay down and play with you, and all our dogs have a bad habit of being up in people's faces because when they're pups, they are raised by Ella, and she has no personal space boundaries with dogs. In her face is just fine getting licked. So if you sit down at one of our trees, there's a good chance you're going to get licked. Or if you reach,
Waylon is awful at licking, and he has
yeah,
the most nasty slobbery tongue ever. No,
yeah, yeah. If you get close to our dog box, there's a good chance you're going to get licked. Plain
yeah.
and simple.
Like some will just like sit there and like they're friendly. They'll let you pet them, but like some, like especially the puppies and freaking
Mm,
Waylon, they'll just sit and lick you.
yep, yep. No, Waylon's bad. Doesn't matter who it is. If he can get close to your face, he's going to lick you.
Yup.
Good. Well, um, so we've talked dogs, we've talked bear, lion, everything else like that. Ella gets to also help her dad with Cold Strike. She's the one kid that gets the brunt of that for the most part. She does do our inventory, and today she gets to cut up a lot of our transfers because of the new transitions we're doing. So,
So excited.
so I might be the one that everybody sees with the company, but there's definitely some of these kids and that behind the scenes. And so that's part of why I wanted to bring like your brother on and you and everybody, just because most of the time when we hunt as a family, especially bear hunting. Lion hunting, you guys don't go as much, but Ella definitely enjoys the dogs as much as I do. Jack enjoys the hunt. He likes he just likes to catch stuff, and when he was little wondered why we never killed anything. But Ella definitely, you enjoy the dogs a lot more. Do you want to talk about why you enjoy the dogs more or not? You're you're one that kind of has more of a personal connection with them than anyone.
I feel like they're just easier to get along with than people.
I agree.
And like, they're gonna love you no matter what. So
But you're not wrong. No, they do. I mean, when they get, a bear or lion caught, sometimes they're there for a few hours to several hours before we get there, and it doesn't matter how long or how much time passes, they're always just as happy and excited to see you when you get there, whether it's been 20 minutes or 5 hours. They're just happy as can be. Same with when you walk out the back door and they're just yep, excited for sure. I mean, when I walk out the back door at 4 in the morning and it's completely dark, it's all I can do to keep them quiet, especially when I fire the truck up because they know what's coming.
yeah, as soon as that truck goes off, they just start barking.
Yeah, they know what's coming. So it was definitely sometimes you guys got woke up on school mornings when I was headed out to hunt and you had to go to school. But I would definitely say like I enjoyed hunting a lot, but once you guys started coming with me a lot, it made me enjoy it that much more, if that makes sense. It's just fun to share it with you guys and to see like what Jack likes about it or what you like about it. Chloe, she's just along for the ride until the hike's too long and then she's not along for the ride anymore. you know and Kenna's a little the same way. She likes the dogs and she likes to see the bears and the lions, but she doesn't quite have the love for the dogs like you do or that I do. You and I definitely share that, the love just for the dogs and being and spending time with the dogs for sure. So, okay, was there any other stories, one that you can think of and you want to tell? Jack's favorite part was just telling stories on how dad has screwed up while we've been hunting. So,
The time you left the GPS, fell off the back of the truck.
oh, yeah, he didn't tell that one. I don't think yeah, I did. We had caught a bear that day and watered dogs down at the creek, and I went to leave, and when I was loading dogs up, I set the GPS right on the back part of my dog box and drove off. Realized that about 3 hours later and went back, and it was busted to shit and didn't work anymore. So, and used that was before I learned to have an extra one. So that was the only one we had. So that ended our hunt just a little early.
Yep.
I did do that. Yeah. Got any other stories you want to tattle on?
What two dogs? Was it Zeus and Red who got into the skunk?
Ah, yeah, they sure did. I actually had Dan with me when that happened. I had that's a guy that actually has his own podcast, the Nomadic Outdoorsman, was out hunting with me. He had just reached out and I'd been on his podcast and he wanted to come hunt, see what it was all about, and just free casting dogs up that road behind the green water tower is where it was. And they start going and trailing and I was like, we might get something going in here. Next thing you know, you just smell it. Oh, that was bad. You got to bath the dogs after that.
Yep, I gotta wash them in tomato juice.
Didn't help much, but it helped a little. So,
Yep.
well, good. Any other stories you want to tattle on?
Um, Maybe not stories, but like going back to kind of what we said, like at the tree. I can remember like almost every time, like when the dogs can hear us like hiking into the tree, at least one of them will like run and come and find us, and then like run back and then come back.
It's usually Creek.
Yeah, Creek did that a lot.
Yep. Yeah, I have that a lot on video where we're hiking in and he'll pop in and turn around and go pop back. So,
Funny.
yeah, just want to check and make sure you know we're here. So, okay. Well, thanks for hopping on with your dad. I know it's not your favorite, but I enjoy it. So, thanks for listening, guys, and we'll be back with some more. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Hound Talk podcast with the Cold Strike crew. If you like what we're doing, like, subscribe, give us a review. It means a lot to us. Thank you for your support. Now go load them dogs and take a kid hunting.